Well, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it may be where you are at. I am looking forward today. We're going to be doing some dream interpretation today. So, I know last week when I was talking about the Hebraic model of dream interpretation, some people were looking to get some dreams interpreted. Hopefully, you guys were able to come back today so that we can catch some of those. We'll see how many dreams we are able to interpret over the next little bit. So, as you guys are hopping on, go ahead and let me know where you're coming in from. And then when you're ready, go ahead and put a dream into the comments and we will start stepping into some of that dream interpretation. So we've got Felicia from North Carolina that's here. Right now, that's our only comment. And so, hey, while you guys are getting ready and getting on, I do want to make sure that you know we as a ministry really work hard on training and equipping people to hear God's voice and to know his voice. And one of the foundations of all of our training is the course called The Art of Hearing God that John Paul wrote back in the 90s. He originally started teaching this seminar in the late 80s that he called Prophetic Reformation. And he took some of that content, added a bunch of content when he started teaching this as a course. And it is still the foundational course for everything that we do. We're going to be doing that course live right here in Dallas in the Louisville area at our Streams Ministries office, March 9th through the 11th. Now, if you're not able to be here in person, you can join us virtually for a live course. So make sure that you check out our website, streamsministries.com, and look at the events, and you'll be able to find all of that information about how to register if you're going to be here in person or if you're going to be joining us virtually and what that looks like. Let's see, we've got Portland, Oregon, Albuquerque, we've got Massachusetts, California, we've got South Africa. Welcome, welcome. Colorado, Bellingham, Washington. I was just talking to a friend of mine that got back recently from a trip to that area of Washington. We got Louisiana, we've got Iowa, and it looks like we have our first dream. So, Christy, I dreamt of an airplane with a burnt tail at the back. A bunch of people were going to fly on it. I told the lady I would pray her flight, and I was glad that I did not have to fly. All right. So here's something that we want to take a look at. This is the airplane. What would an airplane represent? And when you take a look at the dream elements, like the Dream Elements book that we have, we talk about transportation. It's a way that we get from here to there. So it might be about a ministry, might be about a job, something that we're doing, or if we're doing it, something that's happening to get us to where we're going. Usually airplanes are more about ministries or maybe small businesses or large businesses, depending on the size of the airplane. Now, you're not in it, so it's not about your ministry, but it's something that you're familiar with. So you're engaging with people that are getting ready to go up in this airplane. Now, because it's moving from the air, it's most likely some type of ministry, but it's got a burnt tail. Like there's been some issues. The fire, this is not a positive thing. You know, seeing something that's on fire, but it's not being consumed, that can be positive. But when you're just seeing the negative effects of a fire, so it's not talking about the fire of the Holy Spirit here. It's something that's been burnt. Now, that might be, you know, you get burnt because somebody betrayed you, because of bad things that happen. You can get burnt because of destruction that comes because of a negative circumstance or situation. But there's something in the past that has caused some effect of this ministry. And you're seeing people that are engaging with it and are wanting to go forward with it. And you're glad that you don't have to, but you also have a heart to intercede for those that do. So this might be a church maybe that you're familiar with or that you know of. There could be a variety of different things that could be, but that is that dream. Let's see. All right, so Tucker, here's a very, very short dream. I had an image of John Paul Jackson. A couple weeks later, it's an image of a man, and I heard John Jackson. So here you've got this. One of the things about people that are in dreams is looking at the position that person has. And sometimes you want to look at the meaning of the name. Sometimes you want to look at the relationship to the individual. Sometimes you want to look at what position that they hold. And somebody that's a public figure like John Paul would be more about the position they hold, especially since the person is no longer with us in the flesh. So John Paul Jackson would represent a prophetic person or a prophetic ministry, maybe something related to the prophetic calling or the prophetic ministry that he had. You're just seeing an image of it, but then later you see just an image of a man and you heard John Jackson. Now, what some people don't realize, and John Paul shared this at different times, is he was called John Jackson for a few years at the beginning of his ministry. And then the Lord reminded him that he had told his mom to call him John Paul for a reason, and he wanted him to use both names. So he started using John Paul Jackson because it related specifically to his ministry. So John Jackson would more relate to the person, and John Paul Jackson would be more related to the ministry, the calling that was on his life. And so you've been given a vision for a prophetic calling, but you're also seeing the human side of it that comes with it. There's a both and to the call. That is a really fun dream. Okay, let's see here. DK. I dreamt that a celebrity died in a car accident. She recently did an interview, but I didn't watch it until after I had the dream. Her name means love and hope. So somebody dying in a dream could represent the actual death. Like it could be a prophetic thing saying that someone is going to actually pass away, or it could be saying, it could be more metaphorical. Usually it's more metaphorical, especially when there is what the context of the dream. So not seeing blood is sometimes you can see blood and it still be metaphorical, but generally when you see blood, it's generally more literal. If you see someone dead and you see blood. And then the other thing is the context. Why would you know that person? How do you relate to that person? So somebody that you know, there's more tendency of it to be more literal because there would be more of a reason for God to speak to you about that. Whereas somebody that you don't know, like a celebrity, the likelihood is that it is symbolic. Now, I don't have revelation on this. Like I'm not feeling a sense from the Holy Spirit. Is this metaphoric or is this symbolic? So either way, you're having a dream where you're seeing someone else. So this is a dream about someone else. So this is more of an intercessory call. So it's calling you to pray. Now, whether it's literal or whether it's symbolic, it's a good idea to pray. So if it's literal, then pray that no accidents happen and that their life is protected. If it's metaphorical, a car accident would talk about a clash with somebody else and their role, what they're doing. So somebody that's a celebrity, depends on what kind of celebrity there are, but maybe somebody that is else in a similar context, that there's a conflict that could have the potential of ending something in this person's life. Now, not necessarily ending their life physically, but maybe it could be talking about ending of a role that they have or of something, an emphasis that they have. There's some type of ending that is being represented. So it's a call to pray for this person. All right. Here's a short question. A turtle. What does a turtle blocking my pipes mean? So turtle is something that when it gets scared, it hides in its shell. So there's a retreat, there's an isolation, this hard shell, this hard exterior as a self-protection mechanism. And blocking pipes is something that is meant to move smoothly, isn't able to move smoothly. So the tendency to retreat in on oneself can hinder the flow of what God intends for that person's life. So that is most likely what that means. One of the things that'll be more helpful to dial that in a little bit is you take a look at the pipes. Like, what kind of pipes were they in your home? Were they just in general? Were they in an environment? Did you know that they belonged to you? Did they belong to somebody else? That will help you to recognize if this is talking about your own tendency to draw in on yourself, to isolate, to protect yourself with a hard exterior, or if this is talking about somebody else. If it's talking about somebody else, it would be clear that it was their pipes, that it was something about that's blocking something in their life. So those are the things that you would look at. Let's see. Lauren Burleson. I was holding a book and it was unusually lightweight, written in only symbols, but excited because I knew what they meant. Then I'm on a bus with Jack Deere and see a cartoon New York City out the window. Okay, so here's you've one of the fun things with dreams is you look for things that connect. So Jack Deere is known as an intellectual. He's a theologian, extremely intelligent, knows the original languages. So he's known for his knowledge and his understanding. And books are also understood for their knowledge and their understanding. A heavy book is kind of hard to carry, but a light book is really easy to carry. Basically, what this dream is saying is there's some information, some knowledge that you're receiving. It's not going to be hard to carry, but you're going to be able to take it into a big environment in a fun and playful way. So that is a lot of fun. So being on a bus is talking about the impact. It's going someplace else. New York City is something big. There's a big impact, but being cartoon is fun and playful. That is cool. All right. Arzu Grace. Arzu, I dreamed that I was in my childhood home and I was trying to eat some mango, but all of them were rotten. There was also a house with a bunch of boxes. Okay, so being in your childhood home usually is talking about something from your history, something that's going on in your life that had its beginning at that time period. So whatever age that you were in that home, it's representing some things that happened or started in your life during that time. And there's some rotten fruit, like there's some fruit that really should be good and beautiful, was intended to be beautiful, but it's actually rotten. And you're recognizing that and you're not wanting it, but all of them were rotten. So you're trying to eat them, but you didn't eat them because you were rotten, because they were rotten. That's why I'm saying that you're trying to avoid it. You're seeing that it's not good and you're trying to figure out how to get past it. So this is just showing you information. So now the question is, what do you do with that? How do you respond? What is that? What does that actually represent? So now's when you start asking the Lord, what was going on? Maybe even thinking about your childhood at that period of time and looking at the fruit that's in your life, something that should have been good, that doesn't seem good, that you actually don't want to partake in. That might give you the clue as to what it is. And the Lord is showing you this because he's ready to deal with it. He brings things up because it's an invitation for us to engage him for more. So, and then there was also a house with a bunch of boxes. You think of boxes when things are packed up and they're not lived in. There's just something's ready to change. Something's ready to move. Or it hasn't been unlocked. It hasn't been released after it's moved. So maybe there's a new season and things haven't been opened and haven't been unlocked. There's not quite enough to tell which one of those tenses there is just from what you shared in that dream. But hopefully one of those two will make sense when you're thinking about when you're thinking about the dream and those two options, maybe you'll recognize, oh yeah, that makes sense with what's going on in my life. So here's a fun question. Stephanie Williams, are dreamers seers? Yes, if you will. The idea of a seer is someone that tends to get more revelation from seeing. You can get revelation from seeing, from hearing, from knowing. There's many different ways that you can receive revelation. So seers is just a description about people that tend to get it more from visual revelation. So dreams are definitely visual revelation, and dreams fit into that kind of seer realm. So yeah, dreamers are seers. Not all dreamers are seers, not all seers are dreamers, but there is a correlation between them. Okay, let's see here. Vanna Lee. A crazy squirrel was trying to attack me while me, my husband, and son were leaving from visiting family. It latched onto my pointer finger, but no damage or pain. I was worried about it getting my son. So, the thing about squirrels is we have this common phrase that we use when we talk about being distracted. Squirrel? Oh, right. That idea that, squirrel, it's just a distraction. It's something that's this distraction that's distracting. And that is what it tends to mean recently in dreams. I mean, thinking about what a squirrel is, people are going to be insulted by this, but it's pretty accurate. It's a rodent. So it's a pretty rat with a fluffy tail. So there's a rodent, there's a pack thing, there's something about the playfulness of squirrels, but they're also, they can be pretty mean. They can be territorial. They like to pack things up. They hoard for the winter, that piece. But I really think that the distraction seems to make more sense for this dream. And it's this idea of this tendency of being distracted that comes from your family has been a bother to you. It's not really caused a lot of pain, but it's been a bother, and you're concerned that your son is going to have to deal with the same thing. So hopefully that helps. Let's see. Alinga Godber, gems. I needed hand stamp to get into laser tag. My right hand stamped twice. 4 gems each stamp, different colors, shape of a diamond. Gems, diamond shape too. They glowed. Sun stamps, 2 black circles, right hand. Okay, so there's the concept, looking at how something is used tells you a whole bunch about it. So getting into an event, getting into a laser tag, it's pretty normal for there to be some kind of a stamp on the hand or a wristband or that kind of thing. So a stamp on the hand is pretty normal. It just means access. So laser tag, this idea of fun, this idea of games, you've got you and your son that are both there. Then the question is, why those shapes? So diamond shaped, diamond shape, when I hear that, I'm seeing like the diamond shape, like like in a deck of cards, those 4-sided kind of diamond. So, but either way, the idea of a diamond shape, just representing something precious, representing something that's there, but they glowed. It's interesting. Different colors, but colorful. They're glowing. There's something pretty. Your sun stamps are 2 black circles, right hands. So again, right hand talks about what you do. So there's something about access that is related to the gifts and the talents that you have. For you, it's pretty clear what your gifts and your talents are, but your sons are still a little bit hidden. Like you can see the value of yours, but it seems like what your son, the value isn't recognized yet. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not valuable, and it doesn't mean that it's not there. It's just the recognition. Now, why do I say not recognized yet? Black can talk about hiddenness, things that are black. It can be a negative, but in the context, it doesn't feel like it's a negative thing. It doesn't feel like there's bad things there. It's just saying that it's hidden, that it's not in the light. It's not colored yet. It's not released its full expression yet. It's kind of like a blank canvas. So before creation, there was nothing. It was all black. And then God said, let there be light, and light came into being. So from nothing into something. So not recognized, not seen. Now, why circles? Circles, it's a singular shape. It's not clearly defined. It just, kind of going in circles. Like there's, what does it look like? We've tried this, and it doesn't seem to make sense. So hopefully that some of that lands, this idea of gifting and realizing your giftings, having that a little bit more clearly defined, but your sons are different than yours and they're not clearly defined yet. But if you're seeing that they're not clearly defined yet, that doesn't mean that they won't be. It just means that they're not yet. So be praying for those to be revealed, for them to come to the surface and to be recognized and to see the value of them, and for there to be an increase of that. All right, Charles. So Charles Chung, I got a new car that was blue, but one half of the car was a darker blue shade than the other half. The other half was a light blue shade. I was excited. It was the front exit of a parking garage, and I drove it out to go to a wedding. So there's something new that's being released, a new role. Maybe it's a ministry role. Maybe it is a work role that's going to require some revelation, some communion. Darker is just this deeper thing, but then the lighter blue could also represent the will. It's something that you've desired, and it's coming through communion. And it's exciting. Like, you're excited about this new thing, and it's going to lead to greater intimacy. Driving to go to a wedding, it's going to lead to greater intimacy. So that's a lot of fun. I keep on saying that's a lot of fun, but I find dreams so much fun. Like the metaphors and the way that they come together and the things that they say. And it's exciting to me. I like it. TJ's Ministries. All right. Or is it TJS Ministries? One of the two. I'm not sure how to say that. But my daughter's dream, she dreamt that she went to the bathroom to fix a hat and a wig that she had on, but she couldn't fix it right. So a hat and a wig is talking about how you look, how you're presented, how other people see you. It's something that you put on to take on a certain look, a certain persona. And just realizing that there's some things that aren't quite right. A bathroom is a place where you go to get cleansed, either washing something off or getting something out. So there's some type of a cleansing going on. Usually talks about an issue of inner healing, that there's some inner healing that needs to go on. So that there's some things about her image, how she sees herself, how other people see her, that aren't quite right, that she's trying to figure out. She's trying to deal with some of these inner issues that are related to it, and she hasn't figured out how to get that fixed yet. So that's what the dream means. Now, again, dreams don't always give us all that we want. I really want to find out what's the answer. Okay, so what do we do about that? Well, it doesn't say what to do about it, but it's letting you know that it's there. But if it's being brought up, one of the things that we know about God brings things up because he's ready to bring an answer for them. And when we start asking the right questions, we tend to get the right answers. Sometimes we're not getting the right answers because we're asking the wrong questions. And so he gives us a dream that doesn't give us the answers, but gives us the questions to ask. Because the whole point of dreams as a way that God speaks is that they're not the full revelation. They actually require more. They are actually starting a conversation generally rather than ending a conversation. So it's starting this engagement with God where we begin to find out the rest of the story and what it is that he's saying and what it is that he's doing. When we begin to understand how to engage with revelation, this just increases and increases, and we continually grow in our ability to dive deep with God and allow the things that he shows us to be launching points for conversation that takes us deeper. And here's the thing. Some people will say, but I don't really hear from God that well. Well, you're getting a dream, which means that he's speaking to you. So you obviously do hear. So let that be an encouragement. You actually already are having a conversation. Just continue it. You're not trying to figure out how to get to a conversation. You're just continuing one that he started. So let there be some encouragement there. Mama bear, the alligator pool dream. Oh boy. A large gator was behind me and was going to attack. My husband grabs it and pulls it down into a pool and holds it down until it drowns. All righty. So alligators and crocodiles, they tend to represent gossip because they've got a really big mouth and a strong tail, strong lie. This idea of gossip, somebody is talking bad about us, talking against us. Now, behind you, so somebody that's talking behind the back. Now, your husband, I think your husband is actually metaphor for the Lord, that there's been some people that have been talking behind your back with evil intent to harm you, but the Lord is going to deal with it. And he's actually going to drown out the criticism of others in the atmosphere of the Spirit. So pools are usually talk about spiritual communities, but they can also represent just a spiritual atmosphere. So that is there's a lot of encouragement. I mean, it is a warning. It's letting you know something. It's probably already going on just from the dream, though it's possible it's in the future, but it is it is encouraging. It is encouraging. Patricia Collins. I dreamt I had a vision of a girl getting hit in the head by a giant wave. She floated out to sea, but was saved by a giant fish. Okay, so here's one of those dreams where the dreamer is not in the dream. So what does that tell us about the dream? Well, if the dreamer is not the focus of the dream, then the dream is not about the dreamer. But who is it about? You've got a girl, but it's not a random girl. It's not my friend. It's not this famous person that I know. It's just a girl. Usually when you have a dream about someone and possibly the dreamer actually knows who this is and she'll be able to apply it quickly. But if, let's say, the dreamer doesn't know who it was just a girl. I don't know. I didn't really recognize her. That is when you realize this is either about somebody that you're going to meet or this is a principle that you're going to need to learn. Now, this particular one, it seems like it's a little bit more specific than a general thing, though it's possible that it's general. So you may end up seeing a pattern of this, or it may be specific where once you understand this, you'll see, oh, that's what that is. So getting hit in the head usually talks about what you think by a giant wave. So something that's overwhelming. So overwhelming circumstances affecting how someone thinks and causing them to float out to sea. So out of control, in danger, but saved by a giant fish. So somebody that's used to being in that place, something that's used to being in that place that actually brings salvation or brings safety. So somebody that gets overwhelmed by circumstances that they don't understand, they don't need to control, they don't have any control of, and most likely related to the things of the Spirit because the giant fish. But somebody that is familiar with the environment, the giant fish, that's going to be able to bring them into a place of safety when they feel like things are out of control and they're just floating in this new place. Again, that is encouraging. It's possible that that could be you. It's possible that somebody else, and more likely there's somebody else because you are watching it. Sometimes God will reveal us something using someone else in the dream because it causes us to see it in a different way. And if it was shown with us in the dream, we would interpret it a certain way because we're trying to figure out how to make it fit. But then he tells us the story and then says, oh, this is you. You can find examples of prophets doing that in scripture. And that is something that they learned from God. Very cool. Very cool. Well, hey guys, man, a half hour went really quick. We're going to be doing these each week. And then next week, I'm going to be out. I'm actually traveling, and so I will not be in. And my friend Charity, that was usually going to be here, is not here. So we're going to figure out who will be on the live next week. But someone's going to be on the live next week. We'll be going live at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. So Wednesdays live at 5 Central Standard Time. We're going to be doing that. If this has been a blessing to you and these resources are a blessing for you, I just want to encourage you and invite you to help us out by partnering with our ministry. Just bringing in some donations really help us to be able to continue doing things like this, making it available. We are here to help people hear God better. I'm going to put this up on the screen so that you can see it. So if you have been touched and if you want to help us continue to do these on a regular basis and make this available, here's some ways that you're able to sow into Streams Ministries to continue helping us make resources available to help people hear God better. All of those are ways to give, and we really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hey, if you missed it earlier, we are doing the Art of Hearing God class live right here at the Streams Ministries office, March 9th through the 11th. It's going to be Thursday night, all day Friday, all day Saturday. We don't get to do these in the United States very often. And actually, this is the first time that we have done it in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I think in like 5 or 6 years. It's been a while since we've been able to do this. So really looking forward to being able to have this class. If you're not able to be in person, that is going to be available virtually. And you can find all of that information on our website at streamsministries.com. Look at our events calendar and all of that information will be there. God bless you guys, and we will see you next week. Have an amazing, amazing day. Take care.